This last week has felt amazing, hasn't it? This is what bullish sentiment feels like. Now, I know many of you came in right at the top of this recent early year run that we had, and so you've known nothing but pullbacks for the past 3 months. Now you're seeing what run-ups can feel like. Now, where is it going to go from here? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about some projects that haven't yet pumped or haven't yet pumped much. We'll also share with you what I'm thinking about what's going to happen during this market. Like, where are we going from here specifically? And I wanted to address some things on one of the projects that I'm very bullish on. So why don't we go ahead and get this party started? Let me share with you my screen, and we're looking at Bitcoin versus US dollar and on Binance. So this is TradingView. And so you can see this big rounded top. Now this is actually pretty bearish when this happens. Why? Well, because every time it started to run up and there was a lot of buy pressure, there was people selling into it. But then we started crashing down here, and you see kind of this rounded bottom here. Now, many were saying this is the end of the bull market and we're entering a 3-year bear market, and I didn't buy into that. Why? Well, some of the signals that I look for to indicate, yes, this is the end of the bull run weren't there yet. We also had a very early run. Too early, too fast. So I didn't know how to understand that unless it was met with a big pullback, which it was, which makes perfect sense, which is setting us up for potential for a really strong run later. But here's my guess at what's going to happen. It's just a guess. I don't have a magic crystal ball. None of us do. But my guess is we get a few more days of bullishness. And here's where my guess comes from. I have this thesis that the market tries to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. And my guess is, not just in Bitcoin, but think about this represents the market overall, that it runs bullish for a bit more, maybe not even that high, and then it comes crashing back for a little bit, just enough to scare and panic a lot of people, so that those that are saying we're entering the long bear market seems like they might be right. And they're calling this big gains that we've had the last week, they're calling this what's called a bull trap, which is trying to trap the bulls into putting all their money in, and then it's going to go into the bear market, and it's a trap for all those bulls. Now it could be, I'd give it 6% chance, because we never know for sure. So you have to evaluate what you think the percent chance of each thing is, and that's what I would rate it at. What I expect will happen is something along the lines of this, and then we will be in to the full bull market. Now, this part may never happen. Who knows? If it does happen, then it's going to panic a lot of people, and then they're going to panic sell, which will bring it down a little bit further than it should, and then we're off to the races. So let's take a look over at Bitcoin dominance. I do like to understand this, because I don't know about you, but my risk tolerance is higher than what Bitcoin can do. Because the downside of Bitcoin in a bull run is, yes, it goes up, and it goes up quite a bit. It doesn't go up as much as altcoins do. Now, what's nice about Bitcoin versus altcoins in a pullback, Bitcoin vastly outperforms the altcoins in a pullback because they're risky or more volatile. So the kinds of altcoins I like are ones with projects that I think have long-term potential because of the team, because of the problems that they're solving. And I like ones that solve real business problems, not anything called like Moon Rocket or this will go higher than ever or Trump Rocket or Biden Rocket or anything like that. Those aren't my type of things. Or Dogecoin 2 or whatever meme coin. Those aren't my types of things. I look for real projects. So back to Bitcoin dominance. We saw Bitcoin hit this peak way up here in January 2021, where its dominance as related to the market, the entire market cap of all the altcoins and Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominated with 72% of that entire market cap, and since then it went on this big run where altcoins vastly outperformed Bitcoin, which is why Bitcoin's dominance slid down so much. And then what happened here is that altcoins got crushed related to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin actually dropped in price during this time frame, but altcoins got crushed more. So we had like this mini bear market That's my interpretation of it. And altcoins got crushed and Bitcoin went up compared to them. And then it looks like we might be off for another run. If so, dominance will probably fall like this. So what altcoins am I looking at? Well, I'm going to share some of them with you. And some of them have pumped some. And I'll share with you my thoughts on each, or at least how I'm thinking about it and how I will play it, or I'm thinking about playing it. So one of the ones I covered started about a month and a half ago. And at the time it wasn't tradable. It was Spores. Now through Maven Capital, I was able to get on a phone call with the CEO as well as one of the other top people at Spores. And after listening to the leadership and learning about them and having them talk, realized, number one, they're very smart. Number two, they're extremely well connected. And what I like to do is follow solid teams. What I saw was a solid team with a good plan. And I think teams make up 75% of a business's chance of success. And then their idea about 25%. So I saw a solid idea and a fantastic team. So that's why I was all about Spores. Now Spores, fortunately or unfortunately, has pumped and gone from the bottom 2.5 cents or 2 cents here all the way to 10 cents, so about a 5x, and then it's pulled back 20%. Now it might pull back more, or maybe the pullback is done. I don't know. I took a little bit of profits here, got to get some of my initial back and deleverage my risk, and we'll see how this plays. I still hold most of my Spores. So, but I do believe in taking profits. I didn't take a lot of profits because I feel like it's got bigger upside than this. Who knows what we'll do in the short term. I'm more interested in what is it going to do over the next 3 to 5 months. Another one that I've been talking about, I interviewed the CEO. She's a brilliant woman out of India, and that's Drife. They're essentially Uber on a blockchain, if I were to summarize it really quick. And you can check out my video on that. Let's see, way back here. If you go to my channel, youtube.com, and then you just search Crypto Rainn, you'll find my channel, and then just go to some of my past ones. Here's the video, Drife, the hottest crypto project coming soon. Well, they did finally launch, and they actually more than double from their lows when they launched, and it stayed down there for a hot minute. And so they've gone about 4x from, you were able to buy it for about 5 cents back there. Now, what are they going to do from here? They have a really interesting pattern that I don't know. They kind of step ladder up, and I don't know what's causing this. I'm puzzled by this type of chart behavior. I have no idea what it means. But I can't say whether I know that they're going to succeed long term. They have some big challenges ahead, although the CEO and her team, they're brilliant. They have a very good idea, and there's a lot of hunger not only for cheaper rides in India, starting in India, and then they'll spread to other places, but also the drivers are getting punished severely by they're cutting the rates that the drivers make on the 2 major competitors. I think even the 3 top competitors in that field. And so the drivers are hungry for a better system. And so blockchain brings about some efficiencies there and some much lower overhead. And so they have a shot at becoming huge. Now, whether they will or not, I don't know. I asked the question, do they have a shot at becoming huge in the long term? Okay, that's great, because they do. And what will they do during this bull run? Well, even if they don't make it in the long term, and they might, great team, they have a strong chance at it, they'll probably do exceptionally well during this bull run. And so I'll hold the tokens during this bull run. And then probably I'll take a bunch of profits, and if it gets cheap during the bear market, I'll assess exactly where they're at and maybe buy some more. Another project that's pretty cheap still that I like is PolkaPlay. Their token is Polo, and you can get it on the Binance Smart Chain. Now, I look these up on CoinGecko, so I find them on CoinGecko to make sure I'm always getting to the right place to buy these tokens. As to how to buy using PancakeSwap, I'm not going to do a walkthrough video on how to do that. If you're new enough, I understand the difficulties with there are several videos made by other people on how to use PancakeSwap and how to download MetaMask and how to get your MetaMask to work with Binance Smart Chain, and then how to get the Binance token over there. Another place you can buy it, I think, yeah, it's on MEXC Global as well. So you can buy it on PancakeSwap or MEXC Global. So both of those work. In fact, I think the same thing here. It's on PancakeSwap. Oops. And most of the trading is actually happening on MEXC Global. So not bad to get an account there, because some of these, if you're interested in them, you can trade right there. All right, now why do I like PolkaPlay? Well, they're in this social media space. Now, don't misunderstand me. This is a very competitive industry with some competition in the centralized part of this space that are very cash rich and who have huge amounts of money. So the task in front of them is gigantic of how to break into this and get the network effects it takes to be successful. And I don't know if these will make it. Now, they'll probably do well during the bull run. I don't know if they'll make it long term. But essentially, imagine Instagram, where you could create your posts on there, but you actually own your posts and you own your content, as well as they're not selling your private data to make additional money on you. So you have better control over your data, but you also have way better control over what you upload as far as who owns it. You own it, because if you upload them to the existing social media giants, you know that you don't own those pictures anymore. They do. You delete your account, they can leave them up because you don't own that content. So this is great. And if you happen to post a really funny video with you and your dog or you and your cat or something, it does tremendous, you can actually get some revenue from that without having to go through all the monetization procedures that some of these other ones require to then send you a little bit of money. Make sense? Another one that I like is StarFi. Now, they're actually launching really soon. I put a tweet about that. So you can get them on MXC, and that's coming very soon. They're coming, so they're not publicly traded yet, soon. But they are in the NFT space, and I'm big on that. Now, realize there is a lot of competition coming in this space, and during this bull run, there will probably be lots of room for this competition and many of these projects to do well. I don't know which ones are going to be the best winners, so I'm betting on many of the horses that I like the best, and then I'll take profits on it, and then I'll reevaluate who to buy back into during the bear market based on how they're performing. Does that make sense? So startfi.io is their website. Another one in the social media space that's related to PolkaPlay, so this is kind of a betting on multiple horses. I have been on a call with Omni and Patrix, and he was a professional gymnast or a high-level gymnast competing in the international level prior to this, and he's still fairly young. He's like 28-ish. But what I like about top athletes like that is the persistence and drive it takes to perform at a top level is the same thing it takes to be really good in business. In fact, I've seen in my life that people that are really good in sports, when they go into business, they usually do even better, because sports is so competitive to compete at the very top level around the world. Somebody that has that kind of commitment and dedication usually does exceptional in the business space. That really won me over with Omni. I mean, I liked Omni before that. I loved Omni after that. And they've had a little bit of increase. But so they're not 5 cents anymore, which it popped all the way to 10 cents, came back to 5 cents. And they went to 10 cents again, or a little bit above it. And then they've on a little bit of a retrace. And still their market cap overall is low. I don't know the exact numbers, so their total supply at the top would be 638 million. So say if all of their tokens were available and they were trading at 10 cents, that would be a $6 million market cap. Do you realize how low that was? And that's if all of their tokens were tradable. No, it would be a $60 million market cap. I had that wrong. But imagine that only 5 to 10% of their total supply is in circulation right now. That gives us a $3 to $6 million market cap. And I like those numbers a lot. Okay, what else am I bullish on? Well, you've heard me talk about this one before, and you've heard me talk about it a lot because I love this project, and that's ECOMI. Now, I did buy ECOMI in the pre-sale in 2018. It absolutely tanked, but I love the idea. They said, we're going to go out and get really good licenses, and we're going to build some really good NFTs related to those licenses. So we're going to go to the top brands and try to get those licenses, and we're going to build these NFTs. And I thought, that sounds fantastic. Saw what had happened with CryptoKitties. I thought, what if they could land big licenses? That sounds good to me. Well, it got wrecked like everything else did in the bear market. That's just what happened. But starting in January, the price started to absolutely take off. However, it pumped from way down here, and it's like 3/100ths of a 100th of a cent. It was so dirt cheap back then from when it crashed, and it went essentially 200x to here. And then when you see those kind of numbers, there has to be a correction. And sure enough, there was a massive one. Now, I didn't expect it would be this massive. It was. But you're seeing this nice rounded bottom here at the bottom. That's what I like to see. And that tells me to load up. And I've been loading up on them. And I'm a big fan. Their collectibles are amazing. I mean, the level of quality in their NFTs is tremendous. They're 3D models. You can they did get the Marvel license. They've now released 2 Marvel sets. The first Marvel one they did was Spider-Man. And 2 of the Spider-Man ones have animations that are incredible. And so if they have the Marvel license, then that means they also stand a chance of getting some of the other Disney licenses. Say Disney princesses or whatever. And that could be big too. But I mean, probably one of the 2 best licenses you could get out there is Marvel. Second to that, above that, so Marvel's only second probably to Pokemon, which I think is probably the only thing that could be bigger than Marvel. And we don't know who will have that. However, Alcon, I think I'm saying his name right. I'm sorry, I slaughter their names. I called Reese. I called Reese Rice. And the OMI community is so dedicated. They all know that I totally am slaughtering these names, so my apologies to you. I love this. I do not watch it every day. I'm a swing investor. I look for good prices. And even though this is one of the projects I love the most, I literally delve into it maybe once every couple weeks because I've got my eye on a ton of things. And even though this is one of my favorites, I don't watch it and keep up to date on everything. So big rounded bottom here. Where could it go from here? It could go all the way up to $1. It shouldn't go up to $1. That doesn't mean it won't. Now, would I bet all my horses that it would go to $1? Heck no. I would never ever do that. Conservatively, it'll hit probably at least 10 cents and go as high as $1. So when it hits certain markers, I'll start taking profits on it. But I think this one has tons of potential. So what else am I looking at? Well, there's one I talked to you, and I had the CEO on not too long ago. And that's Meld. And I recently worked out a deal with them to be an ambassador for Meld. Meld is one of the ones that I've seen that crossed my desk that it was like, this one is as solid as a guess I can make. And so I'm really excited about Meld. I'm big on DeFi, and I know DeFi isn't booming right now. That cycle will come. Right now it's gaming and NFTs, and that's on everyone's mind, especially play to earn gaming, as well as like profile pick projects, right? Those are doing amazing. That's on everyone's mind. But DeFi is going to have its boom again, and when it does, Meld is running DeFi with some new ideas on Cardano. I'm super bullish on Cardano. I'm very bullish on the ecosystem of Cardano, and this is the most serious DeFi project I have seen on Cardano. And when I watched a video from Rob at Digital Asset News, and he did an interview with Meld's CEO Ken, I was really impressed. So I asked him if he'd come on our channel and shared that with you. Back here, you can find it. All right, there we go. Meld. Could Meld change DeFi forever? Now, they're doing some really amazing things, and I saw some FUD about this that I had to smile at, because there are some people big in the Cardano space, and they were saying, well, there's no way that they could do what they're saying they do, because they're missing some things about the numbers. Because one of the things that they have is, say, a hero loan. And a hero loan will pay back your loan as long as you keep paying the interest. They'll actually use the gains they make from, say, staking the Cardano you put up as collateral in order to pay back the principal on the loan. There's some other ideas. I don't know if it's been finalized as far as they could actually pay the interest. And so the argument was, well, how in the world, if they're receiving up to 5% from staking the Cardano, could they pay back a loan if the interest rate's 5%? It's impossible. Okay, let me walk through this. If you have $200,000 of Cardano there, and you're getting 5% interest on that, and you've taken out a loan for $100,000, and say they're actually going to make all your interest payments and even a little bit of principal, they still can do that. Why? Because there's 200,000 of Cardano staked, earning 5%, but only 100,000 borrowed against it. So that means they're receiving twice as much revenue as the interest needs to be paid every month. And so they have money to not only make money for Meld itself, but also to pay that interest and then some towards principal. Now, I'm not sure if they're offering that specific project, but the reason they seem to be confused on that is that they're assuming people could borrow 100% of what was staked, and I've never heard that that's the case. You can only borrow up to 50% of what you're putting up as collateral, and so that's why those numbers work. Does that make sense? So if anyone has questions, concerns about that, go ahead and put it in the comments below. If you see somehow I'm wrong on that, and I don't think I am, but I'm always open to being wrong. Make a good argument, and sometimes if I see I am wrong, I'll agree with you, but those are the numbers that make sense to me. Very bullish on this project. I delved back into the white paper and was looking at it. My concerns, it's not like I never have concerns with projects. I always do. Even Cardano, back when I was buying a ton of it, I always have concerns. There's always risk that it will go to zero. Meld, the only downside I have of Meld is I have no idea what all the people, the ISO people, are going to do when they finally get all their tokens. Are they going to turn around and stake them? Are they going to turn around and sell them? And all of a sudden, when that comes out, you could get a bunch of sell pressure. Now, this doesn't show us what it looks like at the beginning of year one. This shows us what this looks like at the end of year one. By the end of year one, 3/4 of all the total tokens will be out there, and that's 3 billion. My question is, what's going to happen at the beginning of year one as far as when all the ISO people have their tokens and can sell them? How is that going to play out? I don't know. So Meld is very interesting to me, but should some people start dumping because all of a sudden they get their tokens unlocked and they have a whole bunch sitting in their pocket and they want to sell them, that would be great. I would love that situation because then I could buy a lot cheap. I don't know what the market's going to look like in November. I think October is when that can end. Am I thinking about that right? No, it's November. And maybe even December. I'm getting a lot of things mixed in my head. I'm going to have to go back and look at those exact numbers. But when that is done and it's tradable and everyone gets their tokens, there is a chance that people could dump short term. And if they do, I would love it. So that's the kind of pickups I love, because what happens is you get this strong wick down, usually by a bounce back up. So if I see something like that, I'll probably have some funds sitting on the side in case something like that happens in the first week or two. And it may not. If the market's super hot, people might be very bullish and just want to hold, but that is a potential because you're going to have a lot of tokens sitting out there. I think, 1 billion going to the ISO participants, and might even be increased from that. Makes sense? So Meld, hugely bullish. I have a few projects that I absolutely adore. This is one of them. All right, so what else is going on? Well, I don't know exactly where this goes, but you all have been, if you've been my subscriber for a while, you probably know buy low, sell high. And we just had some great, amazing pickups. Market's kind of turning around, or at least we're seeing some signs that it's definitely been bullish the last week or two. Don't let a drop catch you off guard if it happens. Don't freak out if it happens. It's normal. This is your first bullish sentiment. First time you've seen something 5x, it's awesome. You're going to see a lot of that in the future. You're going to see some things 50x. Hopefully you're holding some of them. Would love that for you. As you know, I can't give you financial advice, but what I can share with you is that I'm an investor. I've been investing for 20 years prior to crypto. I've been doing crypto just for 4 years. I did make some mistakes early on because I thought the same rules didn't apply. They do, the same rules of investing. And so, I don't chase green candles. I buy when oftentimes a lot of people are bearish, thinking that everything's going to crash. And then I sell when things go crazy, and I do tend to hold for longer periods. I also never invest money that I can't afford to lose. And here's why that's so important. You don't have the ability to be patient if you're spending money or investing money that you can't afford to lose. So if you go and borrow from somebody to buy here, the amount of stress and pressure that creates in your life will make you crack when it pulls back. And every day you'll be wondering, should I sell, should I sell, should I sell? It takes away your ability to be patient. So critical to be able to be patient. So I don't do that, even though I could have gotten a lot farther ahead had it gone well. If I had borrowed a bunch of money to buy crypto, I didn't. Now, can this make life-changing well for you? Well, probably. I don't know what kind of decisions you'll make. It stands a good chance, or you stand a good chance of doing very well on this if you'll commit to 5 years. You'll also give yourself some room because, especially as you're new, you're going to make some bad decisions. You're going to go against the principles that I talk about on my channel all the time, and how do I know that? Because you're all human. I do know that. If you're watching this video, I guarantee you're human. So you're going to make human type mistakes. We're all human. We're always bad before we're good. Give yourself some room to become better. Don't purposely go out and make mistakes, but you're going to make them. Also, like, I make mistakes. I've been at this for a while. Now, I set my portfolio up in a way that I don't put all my eggs in one basket so that a mistake would be devastating and crush me. Also, as the market's going crazy, which I feel it will do later this year, I'll be taking profits, and I'll be taking them and putting them completely on the sidelines so that they're not at risk. Because right now, the majority of my assets are all at risk. Why? Because I'm heavily invested in the crypto space. I'm heavily invested in altcoins, and therefore they're at risk. And what happens when they're at risk? You can make a lot of money. You could lose a lot of money. Now, I have them at risk because I strongly believe we have plenty of bull market left. But as it gets crazy and the FOMO gets strong, that's when I'll be taking money and parking on the sidelines out of crypto and out of risk. All right, so now I did reach out to an artist who does rap, and I had him produce this rap. I wrote the words. He's the one that made them awesome. His name was Charlie, and he did a fantastic job with this. Now, I'm going to let it run all the way through. Don't feel like you have to stay through all the way through it if you've heard it before. And I know it hurts my channel statistics if everybody leaves before the end. It's cool. I'm a big boy. I can handle that. I did this for all of you because the words in there are so important. And what I hoped was it could create like a tune that teaches these principles. So throughout the day, you're thinking about these things because these are the principles that I talk about on the channel. And what I wanted to do was reinforce the message, because as you understand these principles and it starts to go through your head, my hope is the song starts to go through your head as you're about to do something dumb. It will prevent you from making some big mistakes, or at least that was my hope with it. So we'll see if it works. Let me bring that up for you. I do have one of you that's producing a remastered version of this that I'm really looking forward to. And that's going to be awesome. And once he does that, let's see if you guys like it even better. So with that said, let's go ahead and play the rap for you.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, you buy before you're good. Was taught to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the boats that I miss. Cause I always make the time in mind. I sit the one out cause I'm patient like that. And I'll wait for the right time. sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. The principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, go parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. The time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and a feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to studying to know that nothing comes easy but with knowledge to gain show. Sticking at this wrong cause soon will come a bear market. Learning and growing and when it's slow will be the target. Naysayers come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. I'm sticking around, the time is better. I'm strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. In 2 years time the bull will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go with the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. This game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Haters be hating, the time to slow down. Addressing what they say when I'm wearing my crown. They're chasing green candles like someone who was new. I got a vision that was bigger, helping me to push through. I'm still human and sometimes it is rough. And that's what makes me special, simply I stay tough. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck.